right, hello sixth graders. This is another recording of me just reading through an article. This is the session 2 article for this week, and it's really just about some fun facts about the moon. So the article's title is called A Beginner's Guide to the Moon. Remember, as you are listening to this, if you're choosing to listen to this, you should be doing the skyward questions as I'm reading it. If you're choosing to read it on your own, again, make sure that you are answering the skyward questions as you're reading. So here we go. How did the moon form? Why do we see only one side of it? Keep reading for answers and other facts about the moon. A giant collision may have formed the moon. According to one scientific hypothesis, the young Earth had no moon. The hypothesis is known as the giant impact idea, where impact means the collision of two objects. According to the hypothesis, you gotta be quiet. According to the hypothesis, a stray planet struck the Earth. Instantly, most of the stray planet and a chunk of Earth were vaporized or turned into vapor. The cloud of vapor rose above the Earth to an altitude of 13,700 miles. There, the vapor came together into many solid particles. The solid particles orbited the Earth and collected into even larger moonlets, or small moons. These finally combined to form the moon. Ruby, you gotta be quiet when reading this. By measuring the ages of moon rocks, we know that the moon is about 4.6 billion years old. The distance between Earth and its moons is about 238,900 miles. The moon is 2,160 miles across. The moon's mass is the amount of matter that it contains. Its mass equals about 1/8 of the Earth's mass. How the moon affects ocean tides on Earth. Gravity is a force that works across space. Objects do not have to touch for gravity to affect them. The force of gravity at any object's surface results from the object's mass and size. The surface gravity of the moon is only 1/6 that of Earth. The force that gravity puts on a person determines the person's weight. On the moon, you would weigh about 1/6 as much as on Earth. That means if you weigh 132 pounds on Earth, you would weigh about 22 pounds on the moon. Well, I want to stop here for a second to think about this. So I'm going to change the view. So it just said that if someone weighs 132 pounds on Earth, that would mean that they weigh about 22 pounds on Earth. You might be thinking, or that would mean that they weigh about 22 pounds on the moon. You might be thinking, how do you come up with that? Well, it's pretty simple. You just need to divide 132 by 6 because again, your weight on the moon is about 1/6 of your weight on Earth. So that's how they get 22 pounds. Now, when I was thinking about this, I weigh about 180 pounds. If I divide that by 6, that equals 30. So if I was on the moon, I would weigh about 30 pounds, which just happens to be about the same as my daughter. So if I was on the moon, I would only weigh 30 pounds just like my daughter. That's like nothing. That's like absolutely nothing, right, Ruby? That would be like crazy light. Look at this. Look at this. Ruby, do you see this? Okay. All right, back to the article. The pull of the moon's gravity on Earth is the main cause of Earth's ocean tides. The moon's pull causes 2 bulges of water on Earth's oceans. One bulge is where ocean waters face the moon. That is where the pull is strongest. The other bulge is where ocean waters face away from the moon. There, the pull is weakest. Both bulges cause high tides. The combined forces of gravity, the Earth's rotation, and other elements usually cause 2 high tides and 2 low tides each day. The moon's shape depends on the Earth and Sun. The moon's rotation, or the time it takes to spin once around, takes about 27.3 days. That's the same amount of time it takes to complete one orbit around Earth. This means that half of the moon always faces us. The other half of the moon always faces away. We never see this half. It has been photographed only from a spacecraft. To people on Earth, the moon's shape appears to change in a repeating cycle. That's because the amount of moon that we see depends on the moon's position with respect to the Earth and the Sun. We see the full moon when the sun is directly behind us, shining on half of the moon. The new moon, when the moon is darkened, happens when the moon is almost directly between Earth and the sun. The sun shines on the part of the moon that we cannot see. So this is really saying that, I'm going to try to use an object here. So I want to try to explain this to you. This is saying that we only see half of the moon. So if I am Earth, and this is the closest thing that I have, if this little piggy bank was the moon, as the moon is orbiting Earth, it rotates, so it spins at about the same speed as it's orbiting. So if you think about this, again, if I'm Earth and this piggy bank is the moon, as it's spinning around the Earth, it is also rotating. It's also moving on its axis, but since it goes at about the same speed as its orbit, we only see one half of the moon. So if you think about that, that means that one day on the moon takes like a full month, because one side of the moon is really facing the sun for like almost the entire month, which is kind of crazy. So hopefully that gave you a good visual for that. Back to the article. Round scars make up the man in the moon. The moon's surface reaches up to 243 degrees Fahrenheit in the sun. The moon's day lasts about a month, and that same spot is in the dark for an equal time period. The dark side cools to about negative 272 degrees Fahrenheit. The moon has no water. However, the moon gets hit by comets. Yes, Ruth? This video? I'm almost done, okay? Sorry about that. The moon has no water. However, the moon gets hit by comets and meteorites that have water. Most of the water is lost to space, but some is trapped in shadowed areas near the moon's poles. To the bare eye, the moon's bright highlands and the dark seas form the man in the moon. A telescope shows that they are made up of a lot of round scars from objects hitting the moon. The largest are impact basins, ranging up to about 1,500 miles across. On the moon, there are no mountains that form as the mountains on Earth did. Instead, the moon is covered by rubble created by constant bombardment by meteorites, asteroids, and comets. All right, that was this video. Hopefully my daughter wasn't too distracting. See you next time.